welcome. My name is Christina. Thank you for joining me for this video. It is a refilm of a previous video that I uploaded featuring these two books that I received from Amazon recently. I was on Amazon sourcing some materials for upcoming Happy Meal for October. If you're not aware, we are a tiny Happy Meal subscription on Patreon. We do bookish themes, and from time to time we do cutesy themes. And starting in September, our Happy Meal will be for a month in advance. So in October we are doing Hobbie, which will be coinciding for November. And Hobbie I felt was the perfect choice because Hobbie's books always have been, for me at least, cozy and have the house vibes, and it just warm heart feel. So I thought this would be a perfect theme for going into November. So I found these two on Amazon. I didn't know either of these books existed, the Holly Hobbie's cookbook and the Holly Hobbie's nursery rhymes. I do own some other Holly Hobbie books, and I was just seeing what was out there because I knew I wanted some more material to pull from for our Happy Meal, and I came across these two, and I thought this one was perfect because it's cookbook, and like I said, it's going to be for the month of November. So I thought this would be a perfect book to source from. There was no images, however, in the listing, so I wasn't sure what the book looked like, although it did have Hobbie's name on it, so that sold it for me. I felt it would be fine, and I was very pleased when I received this. They both are vintage books. They're both from the 70s, and like I said, I wanted to film this video because I wanted to share the illustrations and so that you can see them more fully, because in the previous video that I will link below, by the way, I'm not sure if I mentioned that, I am not going to take it down because I've noticed some people have seen it. So I will link that previous video below because it was the original video when I shared these two books. But I just wanted to um, film this one so that you could see the pages in a better light, since I noticed that video, the images were cropped. So this is the first page when you open the book, and there's a note here from Holly Hobbie, and she signs it, and she has a little illustration. And there are several of these illustrations, these black and white drawings throughout the book. And you have your table of contents. Like I said, this is vintage and it is a used book, so whoever owned this before has checked off some recipes, possibly recipes they were interested in or ones they have actually made. And then you also have a terminology that's used in this book and definitions, and like I said, the illustrations throughout this book. This one is in a blue ink. I think that might be the only one that is in a colored ink. Like I said, you see the illustrations here. You have the illustrations of the directions, and then a picture of the finished recipe and the recipe underneath. And this one I actually did remember from my childhood. I actually did make this as a child. I did mention in the previous video that there was some mishaps with this one. You would use juice or some flavored drink, and you would pour it into an ice tray and cover it with wax paper and apply these popsicle sticks. But a lot of times I found that the popsicle sticks didn't stay up. So the end result would be you would have some very nice tasting ice cubes at the end, but they were still good. And so I did remember this recipe finally. I remember that one from when I was a child. But there are a lot of great recipes in this cookbook. I believe though that this is actually meant for a younger cook. So I think this was meant for a beginner, maybe a child, or a child to learning how to cook. I, like I said, I purchased this one to source for a Happy Meal, because I felt this fit the theme, since we will be theming for November for Thanksgiving. Like I said, in September, our Happy Meal will be start when it goes out. It'll be like a month in advance. So September's meal will be like for October, and October's meal will be like for November, and it will be sent at the end of the month. So Happy Meal will usually be received if you are receiving Happy Meal. If you are a subscriber to our Patreon and receive physical mail, you probably expect it at the beginning of the month, sometime the first week, because we will be sending it out in September at the end of the month. So, like I said, um, I really was happy to find this one. Like I did not know it existed, and they have a lot of really great recipes that I feel that will coincide with our theme. And I love the illustrations. I'm just gonna have to make a mental note of how to go about, because we are a stat Happy Mail. There is no tracking. We are confined to the limits of envelopes that can be used for stamp mail. So I'm just going to have to think on how I can use the images for our purposes. So, and also I want to choose recipes that will be um, the right fit for our theme. Like these cookie cut-ups, I feel like will really work going into the holidays. I think that's a great recipe to include in our Happy Meal. I love this image of the little girl baking, and the images of the directions are really sweet. It's just a perfect book. I'm happy to have found it on Amazon. There are somewhere, like I said, this is from 1979, so a vintage book, with very well loved, but very charming, and I am happy to be able to include this in our Happy Mail for October. Macaroni, spaghetti, and noodles, so they have sections. I'm going to try to focus on recipes that I feel like he would be making in around the fall, going into winter, just because I feel like it's gonna go along with the theme for our Happy Meal. But there's a lot of great recipes in this one. I really love this illustration too. Hobbie has always done these illustrations where you don't always see the front, you see the back of the person, and even though you're not seeing their face, I always feel like it's still such a great image because there's so much detail in it. And like I said, as a child, I loved her books, and I always found them fascinating, even these type of images that she would draw where you didn't see the front, and still it was very appealing and very satisfying. This one's a great one, cinnamon muffins. So I'll be going through this one and just making notes of what recipes will work well for the Happy Meal for October. I'd like to apologize for the noise factor. If you do hear the background noise, there's a very, very hefty fan that's going at the moment. We are here in South Texas, uh, and it is quite hot. So we do have the fans going, even though we have our AC running. The fans kind of help it to circulate that cool air and keep it a bit cooler here, so especially since we're upstairs and where it's a bit hotter. There's a no bake pie crust. Again, a good image to use. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be just going through this book and looking for the best recipes, and trying to figure out how to incorporate them with the size, since I'm limited with our Happy Meal requirements. But again, I just wanted to share this full image so that you can get a better look at the books. This one I also purchased this in the same order, Holly Hobbie Nursery Rhymes. except they were from two different sellers. I actually had this one in my cart, and in within 2 hours, it no longer was there. It just went quick, and that's how it is with Holly Hobby. It is hard. I will say I've never found a Holly Hobby book in the wild. I've always had to search for them online, and I have had some success in finding some books, especially some that I owned as a child. But for the most part, it is quite difficult, at least where I reside. I think maybe there are more opportunities if you live in the northern part of the country, because I believe that maybe there were more um, books in circulation there. Um, but I had to look for another listing because it no longer was available in my cart, like I said. So I was happy to find this one. It was a few more dollars than what I was going to pay if I had purchased the original um, listing, but I was happy to purchase it for that price because Amazon was actually pushing a more expensive option. So I did still get this more of a discount than I probably wouldn't have paid the price. I think they wanted $70 for it, and even though I love Holly Hobby and it would work very well for the Happy Mail, I don't think I would have. Well, I wouldn't have paid $70 for it, even though I love Holly Hobby books. So this one is from another seller. I think I got this one from Thrift Books, and I think I purchased this one from a private seller. So Holly Hobby's Nursery Rhymes. Some of the images in this book I have seen before because they were in other books that I owned. As you can see, as you open it, you have the quintessential Holly Hobby figure for the end pages, and I think this is like probably an ivory, but it's a bit yellow because, like I said, this is a vintage. It's from the 70s, and a brown. The image is brown. So this little dedication, happy first birthday to Beth Ann, love the Smiths from Bellum, Alabama. So this was a birthday gift for Beth Ann, and obviously it has been well loved, and I guess the previous owner decided to donate this full. However, the person that was selling it had it in their collection. Maybe they owned it themselves. I'm just happy they were willing to part with it. So we have the table of contents. We have this beautiful image of these two little girls flying a kite, and some little images down here, some bunny rabbits, little metal scene. This one is from 1977. I will say, I feel like this one might be in better condition than this book, but the book itself, like the housing, of the book, the hardcover is, I think in this cookbook it's better because this one it seems to be, the pages seem to be starting to detach from its cover, and so because of that, we have a little bit of residue from the glue. I'm thinking, or just from the book itself, material from the book. And I did have to dust this several times already, and I think I might have to do it again. But still, um, happy that I was able to purchase this one for my collection. I do remember this image from another book that I owned. I'm not sure if I have it in the collection. I might have this one because it seems to me that there were a certain amount of images of Holly Hobby illustrations, and so that they were recycled in different collection of books. So I possibly do have it because, like I said, I was able to find some books online to replace my books from my childhood. So I'm pretty sure that I possibly do have this one in one of my book collections. But these are all nursery rhymes. Some of these I recognize, some of them are new to me. If wishes were horses, I'm not familiar with Yankee Doodle. I remember this one, Ride a Cock Horse. I do believe I remember this one as well. Um, and these two images I am very familiar with. I do remember them from the books I had when I was a child. And several of these uh, nursery rhymes I do remember as well. Little Bo Peep, Mary Had a Little Lamb, Baba Black Sheep, Handy Pandy, I think is a little new to me, but I remember it. I think I might have heard it from when I purchased books for my children, though, not from my childhood. This one, 30 Days Hat September, I'm very familiar with. I remember it when I was in school, and we received a handout with this poem. And it was pretty much to help us remember the how many days were in each month. And I will say I still use this to this day when I forget how many days are in certain months. So I still recite this to myself to this day. But I I will say that this image, I'm not, neither image, I'm not sure. I know for sure this one, I don't remember it. This one, I'm not really sure. But some of these nursery rhymes, I do remember. Little Miss Muffet, like I said, 30 Days Had September. This one does seem familiar to me, but not this one. So very pretty images. This one's very uh, I remember this one specifically from one of the books I had when I was growing up. But little Holly Hobbie books are always very charming. Her illustrations are beautiful. She's just an amazing artist, and which is why it is hard to find Holly Hobbie books out in the wild. I don't think many people do part with their Holly Hobbie books. I am surprised someone did decide to part with these, but I'm happy because I was able to purchase them. But like I said, she's known for these images where you just see them from the back, and yet it's still very appealing and very um, pleasing. At least for me, I feel I've always loved those images. Have always been more interesting to me when you don't see the front. I don't know. It's always been something that I've can connect it with Holly Hobby. I'm sure there might be other artists who do this, but for me, I remember this specifically with Holly Hobby's artwork. And if you're not familiar with Holly Hobby, this one especially is a very popular image of the image you see the most when you look up Holly Hobby um, materials. You will see this image quite often, and I think there might even be a name for it, and I don't remember it though. But if you aren't familiar with Holly Hobby, she is an artist. She was an artist for American Greetings Company, and she made several books. Um, I'm illustrated. I'm thinking that she might have been the author as well, but I have to look at the books that I have in my collection to see for sure because I'm not particularly sure about that. But for sure, obviously, she was the illustrator. Um, and she did do the artwork for um, back in, I'm not sure if it was the early 2000s or the mid 2000s. There was a TV a series, an animated series. I think it was on Netflix. No, not Netflix. Sorry, Nickelodeon. Called Toot and Puddle. These two little piglets. And she did the art for that. And I believe I did find a Toot and Puddle book. I have to look for it. It's in Spanish though. It's in the Spanish language. I found it on going through little free libraries. I happened across it, so I picked that one up. I was leaving books, and I would pick one up here and there if I found something that interested me, and I was happy to find that. So I did pick that one up because it was a hobby, and it was fine that it was in Spanish. I was thinking about putting it in my little free library, but I still do have it. Just so I never did that because I do have a little free library. Very charming image. I do remember this one as well. So these are images that will work very well for our Happy Meal theme. I love this one. It's so pretty with the little stroller, this antique stroller with the little doll. And again, here we are, two little girls with their pinwheel and the balloon, and I want to say that this reminds me of one of the books that I owned that was about seasons and holidays, and it reminded me or it might have been the exact image for I think it was for 4th of July, but very charming. Her artwork is just, I've always been a fan of it. This is a very pretty one. I could tell you she does a lot of these images where you just see the back. Here we are again. This is a pretty one. This one specifically, I remember, and I think I have a couple of books that have this image. At least I believe I do. So possibly, for sure, it would work with our theme, and it just depends on how many images of this one I have. But I I remember that one fondly. Pretty, pretty. Her artwork is. I love it. I'm gushing because I've always been a Holly Hobbie fan. Um, There's another one that I remember, and this one as well. There's a lot of autumnal vibes in her artwork, like most of the books that I've seen, which is why I really wanted to do Holly Hobby for this theme. And this one I think is new to me because I think I would have remembered it. But possibly it might be in one of the books I own because since this book is a bit larger than some of the books that I had as a child, the image is more enlarged. So maybe I did and I just don't remember. Um, but because of the image, the piano, the upright piano, and the detail on top of the piano, it doesn't seem familiar to me. But I really like it. And as you can see, Holly Hubby usually has her signature somewhere in her illustration. And I believe this is the last page. This one is very familiar to me. I think this one as well. There's the end of the book. So like I said, I wanted to film this one again because I wanted to give everyone a really good look at the images because they're so pretty, and I felt bad when I noticed it in the video. So these are books that I own I've already owned that I found online from different sellers. Some of them I believe I purchased on Amazon years ago, and some of them I think I might have found on Etsy. Um, but I thought I would bring these out because I did mention them in the previous video. So I just thought I'd share them with you. So like these were the two, and there were more from the subscription that my mom had she had ordered a book subscription, and for several months or a few months, I received 2 books every month, and then I owned all the Holly Hobby books, and I'm really sad that I don't know what happened to them. We moved around a lot during that time, and then we even moved across country because originally I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and we moved to San Antonio, Texas. So possibly in the move somehow I don't know what happened to them, but I was able to find these two. And like I said, I did own the whole collection. Um, but at least I was able to find one of my favorite ones, which is Holly Hobby's Around the House book. I really love this one. And as you can see, it's the same image as the Holly Hobby cookbook, which I was so happy to see when I opened the package and saw the cookbook. Like I said, I didn't know what I was getting because there was no images for the listing. But I was a teensy bit disappointed because I was hoping that it would be like this book and it would have the full illustration, the color illustrations throughout. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but I am happy with the drawings that are included in this cookbook. But as you can see, it's one of my favorites. Each book would have a different color on the top, distinguishing it from the others. And I believe, oh, here's the receipt. So let me see if I can see what it's from. Yeah, this one says it's from Barnes and Noble, so that's weird. I don't remember purchasing, but I guess I did. See, Children's Press Chicago. So that's, wow, I didn't know it was, I would have said it was Royer, or maybe Royer, I want to say the ones that I had were from earlier, but maybe I'm remembering another book. We did have several book subscriptions. My mother always liked to sign us up for those. This is from 1978, so this is a little bit later, I think, than the nursery rhyme, because I think the cookbook's from 1979. From American Ingredients Corporation. Like I told you, she was an artist from American Ingredients Company. All rights reserved, printed in the United States of America. You don't see that often anymore. So these books were printed in USA, and like I said, it's around the house. So they have different settings, and this one's for sewing, making a dress for your dolly in a pattern that's bright and gay is a wonderful way to fill the hours on a very bad weather day. Like I mentioned in the previous video, if you've seen it, it had this melodic tone to the verses. So it doesn't say, it just says Holly Hobbie. It says illustrated by Holly Hobbie. It doesn't say if there's an author. So I think that she authored it as well, but I am not sure. I would have to do some research since it doesn't say. Starting a garden. March winds and April showers can blow your plants away. So start your seeds inside the house and plant outside in May. I It was a rhythmic rhyming. It was just it was I was just so taken by these books, and I remember them fondly from my childhood. And as you can see, here's the illustration again, and that's on the cover. Being a good cook, maybe the cat got most of it when first you started to try. Now cooking is fun because you're good at it. Wait till daddy tastes that pie. So, and some of these I think I found very interesting because it wasn't something but I did. Like, I was interested because it was new to me. Like, um, my mom didn't let me cook at a young age, so I didn't get to do that. I did have to do the dishes though, and I did do some light housework. I did sweep, but the sewing, I'm not a good sewer. I still can't sew very well. I can sew with a needle, hand sew, but I don't know how to use a, what do you call it? A sewing machine. I would love to learn though. And so these scenes are always been very charming to me and very interesting. And I would spend hours like going through this book and going through it again, and like, because it's from a different time period. I want to say it's from, I think the time period is the 18th century, 1800s. I'm sorry. So, very charming images, and I just wanted to share the book with you because I mentioned it, and so you could see there we have again. But this is the front, because I think in the other book we saw it from the side view. So this is the front facing view of that image, and there's that this one as well was in that other book. And here's the end. So that's the Holly Hobbies Around the House book. This is Holly Hobbies Through the Year book. Another one that I remember fondly. And I was always happy when the UPS man would come and I was able to tear open that package and take out my book and look at it. This one is spring. Although I'm wondering if it's because of the wear of the age of the book. To me it looks more autumnal, the image, the colors in this one, but it does say spring. Like I told you, I did remember these images. It was from this book. I couldn't remember what book it was from, but I did remember the images. I didn't remember this one, but obviously it was in this book, so I had seen it before. Okay, this one says Sam's Books, from trying to see Racetrack Road, but it doesn't really say a city or state. It just has like the address, the street address. But I'm thinking that this is one that I purchased on Amazon, and it was just a private seller. I love this one. this is what I was remembering. This July. July is a very special month. It's when we celebrate the birthday of our country and the things that make it great. And so I remember this one. I thought, unless it still is, maybe because it's from the back. Like I said, this is front facing. So, so I'm thinking it is. It's just the front facing. Oh, this is one of my favorite. I love this one. September means it's time again for going off to school. The days are getting shorter and the nights are turning cool. So this one I remember so fondly. I love this one. I wasn't a big fan of going to school though. I didn't. I was a shy child and I didn't feel very comfortable. I think I didn't know it then, but I had social anxiety. But this kind of made it help me, I think. Just looking at this, I remember this illustration and I love this one. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the little girl holding the umbrella. I just always have loved it. And this was true to me at the time because in Chicago when school started, it was cool. In the mornings when you would go off to school, it was cool. And in the afternoon during recess, it would be kind of warm. But by the time we would get off of school and we'd be walking home, it'd be cool again. And in the night, it would be cold because we were going into the fall. But not here in Texas. It is hot. It is hot all the way to December and even up until January. I think it's not getting cold until the very end of January here in San Antonio, Texas. I love this one. And the quilts. There's so much detail in Holly Hobbie's art. Like I said, I did remember this one. I don't think this one was in that book. At least I don't remember. And yes, I do have this one in here. I thought I did, which is butted up to another favorite image of mine. I always love looking at these two pages. And then this one has December and it has the Christmas illustrations. It's really pretty. I love this one. These two pages were one of my favorites as well. And like I said, I love this one and this one. But this one was one of my favorites as well as a child. And then we go into March. And then that's the end of that book. And this is a treasury of Hobbie. So like I said, some of these images are recycled. So you will see duplicates. And I think this was the whole collection. If you see these images, I think each of these images were on a book. So as you can see, this image is this one, and this image is this one, as you can tell. But then there was these other 4 books that I also owned that I am very sad I don't have anymore, but at least I was able to find this treasury. So I still have the images, I just don't have the books. This was all through the day. I want to say, I'm really not sure which one of the cover it is, but I remember this one because this was talking about all through the day. So it would give you a time. And I have 2 sets of greeting cards, of Holly Hobbie greeting cards, and one of the sets I have has this image on the cards in that um, set of greeting cards. So that is another thing for the Holly Hobbie Happy Mail. I will be also the recipient. Whoever is receiving physical mail will be receiving a greeting card, a Holly Hobbie greeting card, and it depends on which tier. For sure, Bronte tier members and Austin tier members will be receiving greeting cards. Um, but I haven't decided which tiers will receive which card. Looks like I said I have 2 different sets of greeting cards, but they will receive a greeting card. So if you're interested and you love Holly Hobbie, I do have slots available for Bronte. I'm not sure about Austin, but like I said, both will receive greeting cards, and they will both receive illustrations from one of my Holly Hobbie books. I haven't decided which one besides the ones that I sourced recently that I'm going to use. But they you will receive artwork from a book and a greeting card if you're on either one of those tiers. And then I have to just think of what I'm doing for the Oakland tier. I have 3, well, I have more than 3 um, physical mail tiers, but only 3 of them will receive the theme. The other, I think the other one is more of just Happy Mail. It doesn't have a theme attached to it. Let's see, there's one. There's my favorite. So this is going into through the yearbook, I guess. And like I said, they have all of them in here. So this one was the ABCs, I guess, and I want to say that I'm not sure which image it was. Maybe it was this one. Um, and you see these beautiful illustrations. One of my favorite ones. These one too. This one was as well. I spent hours. I kid you not. I spent hours going through my Holly Hobbie books, and I just look at them. I was I was an inside child. I tend to stay inside. I didn't go out much when I was younger. And I was elementary school age. I was an inside child more. I stayed inside. I like to read. I like to play school with them. I would always keep my stacks of handouts from school, and I would pretend I was a school teacher. And I love going through my Holly Hobbie books. Um, this one of my favorite images. I don't remember this one so much, but obviously it was in the book. And here is the question and answers book. I do remember this one. I don't remember what was on the cover of it, but it was one of those, obviously. But it's nice to go back and look at this book and kind of have little peaks of memories popping out from back in the day. This is one of my. It's a happy day. I love this book because I love the images. Look at this one. It's so sweet. A little girl playing dress up, and then this one is of the little girl. I think she's sick. No, she's not. I think that was another one I'm remembering. This is just she's waking up. She's stretching in the morning. This is so pretty. Like I said, I get so excited looking at these books because it just reminds me of a happier time and a more innocent time. I love this one. There's so much in Holly Hobbie's illustrations, and I just wanted to share some of these books with you, just as a treat because I felt bad that that video did cut off the images in the previous video. So hopefully you can see these better in this one. But that's the end of that book. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to refilm it, and I will keep the original one up, and I will link it below if you want to see the original one. And the original one, I only have these two featured in it, but I do mention my other Holly Hobbie books. But I thought since I was refilming it, I thought I'd share those books with you. I do have a couple that I wasn't able to locate. They're here. I put stuff away and then I forget where I put them, which is kind of sad because I do it to make so that nothing happens to them. But then I hide them too well. I mean, not hide them. I put them away too well, and I can't find them. It's my menopause brain. Unfortunately, it's it wreaks havoc. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like this video, if you did like this video, I hope you would hit the like button. It would help out our tiny channel ever so much. And if not, no worries. That's fine. I hope you decide to return for another video. But until next time, take care. God bless. See you soon. Bye.